どうかしたのか。
おじさん、お父さん。
Hello everyone. Today I would like to talk about a very important topic. It involves the two most powerful beings in this universe. Now I say this universe because the rest of the family members they are trying to gather reside in other respective universes. Now, this revolves around two characters who many people believe to be subtle in the shows that they are located in, but the truth is that they are more heavily involved than you could imagine. Now, let's break it down, starting with Youhei Sunohara. You see, the story of Sunohara is quite a lengthy one, so I will try to shorten it down to a reasonable amount of time. Sunohara is actually a natural-born Super Saiyan, and at the beginning of the series, his power level started off at 8,999. But once he endured a series of beatings one after another, his power level increased immensely. In fact, he even surpassed a Super Saiyan God Super Saiyan. And then once he acquired enough power, he actually had returned to those people who gave him the beatings, and he defeated them himself without even breaking a sweat. Now, we don't know the full extent of Sunohara's powers, but we can infer upon a few things. First of all, he actually has the ability to grow sausages out of his nose at will. Now, we're not sure what that's used for, but another interesting power is that Sunohara has the ability to change genders, and we don't know why, in what situation he would want to do that, but probably to seduce his followers. Now, this next set of powers is actually a higher tier and is quite frightening. You can find them in the lost episodes of Clanad. Now, as you can see here, Sunohara is seen to move his arms so fast that it breaks the frame rate of the actual animation, and it shows that he has a high control of speed and that he can move so fast that it creates after images. Moving on, Sunohara has another ability, which from this image seems to be the ability to shrink men's penises, but we can also speculate that it is actually much more powerful than that, and that he can actually condense and expand matter itself of any size, no matter if it's the sun or if it's something as small as a particle. Sunohara has also been known to have the ability to invert gravity itself, or, to further extent, control the magnitude of gravity itself. Now, we will be seeing this probably later on in the series when we find out about Sunohara's powers and we see an epic showdown between him and Goku at the end of the world. Now we can see from these clips that Sunohara actually has the ability to teleport. Thus you can see why Okazaki is surprised every time he sees Sunohara. Now for this next segment, I will be talking about Sunohara's relation with other characters, although you may know that everyone does like Sunohara. Now his first love, Tomoyo, was his first target on the list of people who liked him. Now, he used his techniques to woo her, and in the real show, he is quite successful, although sadly, in the show that many people watch, they actually had to cut parts out to keep the ratings. So, he was successful with her indeed, and their relationship did take off and go quite well, until they had a little bit of an accident, to say the least. And then once that accident occurred, he left and went to go find new mates, so to speak. And he found plenty in the show, and like I said, in the real show, it doesn't actually quite show that to the viewers to keep the ratings down. And now, for this next segment, I will be talking about Sunohara's plans in relation with his family, although only a small segment of it. Now, we theorize that his family is actually composed of gods themselves, and that he is, you could say, a demigod. We can't really confirm truly what Sunohara is at the time, but essentially, we know that there are many people that like him, as he has a following of his own. And as you can see in this picture, he seems to be going down a garbage chute, but it's actually a portal to his dimension, which leads into Sunohara Heaven, as we call it. And as you can see, his hat that he wears is actually his crown, and it is a symbol of his authority. And when you go to heaven, you actually are welcomed to an image of Sunohara. As you can see with his wings, he welcomes you to his following. And on top of that, he does have one more ability that we will discuss, and that is the ability to summon demons, which means that he is possibly very in control of the world that he resides in. And to cap it all off, there is a prophecy that has been told where Sunohara is actually planning to destroy the world one day, depending on the situation. Now, the second member I want to mention may not seem related to Sunohara, especially because they have different last names, but believe me, I'll explain that later on. Now, the second person is none other than Taiyo Shirahama.
そうだ。自己紹介が遅れたけど、俺は白浜太陽。
And just like his long-lost brother Sunohara, Taiyo Shirahama is also a well-known pimp. Now, you see, he started off with just his first love, Aoi, and basically, it started off as she didn't notice him well, but once he used his charm, he easily found his way into her heart, and they presumed intercourse. But as the intercourse was done, apparently a video of their intercourse was recorded and posted on the internet. So just like Sunohara's first relationship, his also kinda sorta went bad at the end. But unlike Sunohara, he doesn't quite go for a harem, to speak. Now, similarly to his brother, Taiyo does have his own unique array of powers, and they are not exploited too much because the show is still relatively new, but here's what we have. Now, to begin with, Taiyo does have the ability to print infinite money, which is why you always see him buying things or talking about buying things. So he's not naturally rich, but rather he has the power to become rich. It's kind of weird, but hey. Now, the other power is that he can actually turn into a dragon, which is why Oregon says our looks are comparable. And the next thing is that you may have noticed that Taiyo does a specific pose, kind of like in this video right here. Now, whenever he does that pose, he's actually reading the minds of everyone around him and collecting information from all over the world, which is his other power. Next up, you can notice that Taiyo seems to have the ability to either erase his existence or wipe people's memories, because as you saw, he was in the background of that previous shot. And here, in this scene, he's offering tickets to all of his friends so that they can go to a museum together. But in the upcoming shot, you are going to notice that Taiyo does not actually appear, even though there are 5 tickets in his hand. So, what happens to Taiyo during that scene? Where does he go? It's quite interesting. And maybe there's not enough evidence yet, but it does seem that he can change reality. Now, Taiyo's powers don't stop just at that. Now, it is also speculated that he has the ability to stop time, as you can see in this upcoming shot where everyone else is frozen. Now, there is also Minami, who is able to move around, but that is probably because she inherited a little bit of the family traits, even though she's not of the direct bloodline. But still, the ability to amaze time is quite a frightening one that Taiyo does have. Now, with these powers, there may come some suspicion. In fact, 3 characters include Ren,
全ての鍵を握るのは俺たちの記憶なのかもしれない。
Oregon, who questions his origins,
おまりよ。なんでやるんだこの種族。
and last but not least, his adoptive father, who tried to concoct a potion of truth from him.
何作ってるの？
情報を吐かせるためにちょっとした薬草茶を煎じた。1998年こそもこれを飲んだ誰もが吐いたもんだ。
And just like Tobi from Naruto, Taiyo pretends to be weak, and he also wears a mask, apparently, but Taiyo is actually the strongest in his
冬の
universe.
スクランブル交差点の薬局でマスク買おうと思ったんだよ、パパーっと。いや、みんなから離れるって言っても超一瞬の予定だったんだよ。で、実際パパーっと買ってきたんだけど。
And take a look at these video clips. Isn't it weird that he knows so much? How's the group not suspicious?
今の居場所なら俺知ってるよ。
え、本当か？
うん。春馬が今いるのは渋谷だよ。その名もモンスター召喚システムビシ。新しいモンスターをゲットすることができるんだ。あ、そういう展開だとしたら4人で上野原のトップ4を倒さなきゃいけないと思うんだけど。トップ4今大変なことになってるらしい。奴らも中学生のはずだけどね、正体はわからないんだ。最近はその強さを誇示するため野良モンストでそこらの人たちを無作為に倒しているらしいよ。びっくりした。っていうか誰？お前トップ4の一人だな。え？
After doing a bit of research, I have discovered that Taiyo is actually starting an uprising in the world he lives in, and he is reigning over the chaos. He begins by recruiting John Manjiro,
Yeah. What's up, bro?
おお、ジョン万次郎じゃん。
Al Mirage,
何が出るかな、何が出るかな。
and then he encourages crime in the city.
かつくぞ。やる。
Afterwards, he releases his spirits, and thus creating even more havoc. And then, finally, he starts a cult, which is comprised of these possessed members, and they all worship him and pray to him every single day, as you can see.
え、あ、あ、ぶ、あ、ぶ、あ、ぶ。
So the last question we want to try to answer for this segment is why, or rather, how, these two characters are related. Now, you see, both of them have many abilities that we don't quite yet understand, but they kind of are predicted to come from the whole being related to gods theory, which will be answered in a future video. Now, the other thing is that both of them do have a love interest whom they easily were able to charm, but at the end of the relationship, there came some sort of horrible price to pay when it ended, and as you can see with these video clips, you can see how both of them are being attacked by their love interest.
Shining Wizard!
やるな。
Another thing is that both of them have a younger sister.
みんなやる。
いやー、それほどでもないっすよ。
それほどでもありますよ。
本当に南、何もしてなかったであるけどな。
なんでお前がいるんだよ。
電話で言ったじゃない。遊びに行くよって。
電話？
ああ、それについては俺から話。
Now, this doesn't really mean too much in the overall picture, but you can see how they're placed in a similar situation. And actually, this comes from the belief that both of them came from the same god family, and that they were separated at birth and placed into two different universes, but where they had kind of like their own parallel scenarios in a certain aspect. And this relation in the family is also the same. And also, you do not actually get to meet both of the parents of both characters, adoptive parents of course, so you don't really quite know how the position in the family exactly is, but you can see, at least with what we have, that they are pretty similar. So, that just leaves us with more questions in the end, such as, who is the actual parent or parents of the family? Because we don't know anything about their lineage, just that they are the two most powerful in their universe. And we're also trying to find Where's DJ Khaled? Does he have the key to success? What will we find out more about this god family? These questions and more will be answered in the future segments of My Theory videos. Thank you all for watching, and wait, you guys want to hear more? Is that a yes? I think that's a yes.
それ後でよくない?
Well, too bad. Taiyo says we have to wait until another time. Anyways, all your questions and more will hopefully be answered in the next segment. Thank you and have a good day.